cancer deserves good days and special times. That is what Camp Good Days is all about. It is for those dealing with cancer, either now or in remission, as cancer never really goes away. Even if you are cured, it is in remission, it is always in the back of your mind. Every little thing that happens, you wonder, oh my gosh, could it be coming back again? Teddy Mervis, a 9-year-old little girl, was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor. As hard as it was, dealing with chemo, radiation, doctor's appointments, and the many side effects that go along with the disease, for Teddy, it was the loneliness of being around friends and family who couldn't understand what it was like to be different because of dealing with such difficult treatments and side effects. Teddy's dad, Gary Mervis, was very aware of his daughter's feelings. Upon learning about a camp in Michigan for kids with cancer, Gary invited the doctor who he had seen on TV talking about the program to come to Rochester for an informational meeting at the Rochester Academy for Medicine. From there, the first session of Camp Good Days took place at a camp on 4th Lake in the Adirondacks. That first session included Teddy and 62 other children from the Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse areas. They would spend a week away from their troubles and be among newfound friends who understood each other as no one else could. That was the beginning of a vision Gary Mervis had for his daughter that would brighten her days, as well as thousands of children who were dealing with illnesses that no young person should have to bear. Over the last 30 years, Camp Good Days has served more than 42,000 campers from 22 states and 25 foreign countries. Camp Good Days and Special Times has evolved from that first session at a camp in the Adirondacks to a full summer of programs at their own recreation facility on Cuba Lake. It is a wonderland for children of all ages. It reaches out to children with cancer, children with sickle cell anemia, children infected or affected by HIV/AIDS virus, and children whose lives have been touched by violence. Through intense fundraising, children are able to attend Camp Good Days at no cost to their families. Weeks through the summer are set up for children who have had cancer or are currently in cancer treatment. There are also weeks for children who have not had cancer themselves, but whose parents or family member have had cancer, or have had a family member who lost their life to cancer. As you can see, this wonderful organization reaches out to touch many, many lives. If you have ever been to a summer camp, you know how the basic routine is to keep the campers busy and happy. Camp Good Days is no different. They offer many activities: woodworking, crafting, and drama, just to name a few. They have many challenging activities, such as an incredible ropes course, a go-kart track, nature hikes. All are on levels that children are capable of at their point of illness. It is very huge for character building and self-confidence, and it just makes them feel good about themselves. As a cancer survivor myself, I too am a Camp Good Days camper. From the moment I arrived at Camp Good Days a few months after my diagnosis and treatments, I knew I had found a very special place. I just felt I had found my niche among other women who had been through an emotional as well as physically challenging time of our lives. I was with other women who had experienced the ups and downs of cancer. We were all blessed with having loving families and friends who supported us. Even so, there is a comfort in being around others who know the emotional mindset of dealing with frightening diagnosis, surgeries that take away part of your being, and months of difficult treatments, some of which you didn't know if they would help cure you or make you so sick you would wonder if the treatment was worth the cure. As I prepared for my first weekend at camp, I expected to make new friends and spend the weekend talking cancer. I thought there would be seminars and workshops helping us deal with all our fears and expectations of living as a cancer survivor. I couldn't have been more wrong. There was very little cancer talk. Not to say we didn't share some of our personal experiences or fears with our new friends. but I was surprised how little the subject came up. We were on a weekend getaway, keeping busy and being pampered with an aura of friendship and unity among us. As I mentioned earlier of the similar camp routine as when we were kids, the format of the adult oncology weekends is much the same. We slept in cabins or dorms. There was a variety of activities: swimming, hiking. We actually snowshoed one winter camp. Fishing, woodworking, jewelry making, scrapbooking, relaxation techniques such as yoga, Reiki, a foot and hand massage called Jafra, which were all very, very nice. Being on Keuka Lake, there were many opportunities to get out on the water in a variety of boats. They even have a warrior canoe that will hold 18 to 20 people. Each weekend session of camp is a little different from the other, always offering new and different ideas for us. All activities and aspects of the adult oncology camp are run by volunteers. Each weekend would have a theme with activities appropriate to it. Since campers were welcome to come at various points of their fight against cancer, it was up to them how much or how little they would participate. It was our weekend to spend as we felt comfortable to. For those who were not strong enough to get around on their own, there was always a pleasant volunteer or another camper to help them. Golf carts were often going back and forth from the dorms to the dining hall or the activity areas. Friday night, after everyone arrived and was treated to a sumptuous dinner, there would be a get acquainted activity, followed by a campfire or time to socialize. On Saturday, there would be morning and afternoon sessions, at which time we had many choices of activities to keep us busy, or perhaps time to take a nap if that's what we needed. Saturday evening, a special program is planned. We have had guests come, such as Elvis or Janis Joplin for a Woodstock night. There have been weekends we participated in an interactive mystery program. We knew ahead our parts and brought costumes accordingly. It was amazing how creative our campers were. The Camp Good Day staff is quite clever as well as how to entertain us. Sunday morning, a lovely closing ceremony would finish up the weekend. By then, we were great friends, sharing email addresses and looking forward to the next time we would meet. As I mentioned before, Camp Good Days is kept going by the generosity of volunteers. At the children's camp, there was a small group of paid employees who are supplemented by many, many volunteers in the roles of camp counselors, nurses, cooks, as well as many others. Camp Good Days is a volunteer-based organization governed by a volunteer board of directors, relying on the dedication and service of thousands of volunteers to assist in providing the programs and services. At the adult oncology programs, the entire staff is volunteer. Many of them are paid employees from the Camp Good Days offices who volunteer their time for the weekend. Others are men and women who year after year volunteer their weekends to cook and run the programs. To us as campers, they have come to be very special people in our lives. Another very important aspect of keeping Camp Good Days going is the many fundraisers run throughout the year. Perhaps you have seen the tables set up in the malls at Christmas time for the Kazoo Fest. The kazoo has become a fun symbol of Camp Good Days. We also have other items for sale at that time, and it has become one of the major fundraisers for Camp Good Days. Another huge fundraiser is a wine judging and auction weekend in Rochester. Wines from all over the world are donated, judged, and auctioned off. All of the programs and services provided by Camp Good Days are offered free of charge to the participants. This is only possible because of the generosity of so many individuals, businesses, and organizations, and the success of several fundraising events.